To achieve anything in life, you have to be resilient. Resilient is bouncing back from adversity. Resilience is bouncing back from change. So resilience is the key if you want to be very, very successful. 1986, I went to England to pursue my master's degree. I was very, very excited because this was my very, very first time to go to Europe. An African going to Europe for the very first time. It was exciting. Got to England, got to the university, started the program. And then what happened? My father's construction business collapsed. The thought, my goodness, how am I going to pay my fees? I was afraid. I was just confused. What am I going to do? So I called my dad and I said, Dad, what are we going to do? My dad said, come home. I said, but Dad, I've just come this far. How am I going to go back home without what I came for? I want to achieve this thing. I want to get this degree. And my dad said, but how are we going to pay the fees? I said, Dad, I just don't know, Dad. I just don't know. But I'm going to figure this out. So I started looking for jobs on campus, off campus to pay the school fees. A number of times I've gone to class half asleep, my colleagues making fun of me, saying, George, you don't seem to sleep at all. But I couldn't tell them I've worked all night. But I had to do that to be able to pay my fees and survive and do what I'm in England to do. It became so difficult for me to pay the fees. In fact, one day the school administration called me and said, George, if you don't pay your fees, we're going to let you go. And I'm just thinking, I'm trying very, very hard. I'm doing lots of work. But again, the money was not enough to pay the school fees. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the MBA director's personal assistant and tell her that I want to quit. So I said, Margaret, things are just so hard for me. I just want to give up. I just want to quit. And Margaret sat me down and said, George, don't quit. Don't do it. I said, Margaret, I don't know, just getting money for food is becoming a problem. Paying the school fees is becoming a problem. I just don't know what to do. And Margaret said, George, just take one day at a time. So I listened to Margaret and I said, well, Margaret, I'm going to give it a try. On this particular occasion, I got on the train to school, but I only had one way ticket. Went to school, did an exam. On my way back, going home, I was in the train going back home, and this policeman approached me and said, George, where is your ticket? I said, sir, I don't have a ticket. And he said, no, you got to have a ticket. So at the next stop, he just walked me out of the train and threw me out in the middle of nowhere. I stood out there. I didn't know what to do. These were not the days where you had cell phones, where you can call somebody for help and all that. I just didn't know what to do. I stood there, and what appeared to be eternity, it was such a long time. I finally mustered courage, came back on the platform, got into the train, and while on that train, I was so afraid, emotionally bruised, looking around, wondering, is there another policeman who's going to come and throw me out? I finally got home, and I thought, wow, this experience should never be repeated in the history of my life. So I kept on studying, kept on going, and you know what? I finally made it. On graduation day, we were in the dressing room, putting on our gowns and all that, and there's this coveted MBA Directors Award that everybody will want to have that because it's one of the awards that everybody, and it's only one award. So I had my friend say, you know what, this person is going to get it. Another one said this one is going to get it. And I said, guys, come on. We don't know who's going to get this award. So let's just wait. We will soon know who will get this award. So they gave us the various degrees, and now it was time for the awards. I was just thinking, my goodness, who is that lucky person who is going to get the award? And so the professor just said, okay, now it's time for the awards. And he said, the MBA Directors Award. And he stopped for a minute. And then he said it again. The MBA Directors Award goes to none other than George I. Wow. You know what? I stood up and I sat down. I said, this can't be me. It can't be me because, I've struggled. I've had the challenges. I've had all these difficulties. The professor again said, the MBA Director's Award goes to none other than George I. I stood up with tears running down my face, with all the emotions. I walked to the platform and he gave me the award. And he also gave me an atlas. And when you come to my office, you see a globe, because that globe reminds me of what the professor said. And the professor said, George, use this award to impact people in your world. Let this atlas remind you that you need to use what you've received today to change your part of your world. So I took that, and the ceremony was over. And when I walked to the door, the entrance of the graduation hall, Margaret was there with her arms stretched and gave me such a wonderful hug and said, George, congratulations, you made it. And I said, Margaret, thank you very, very much for your support. Without you, I wouldn't have made it. My wife and kid was there as well to basically celebrate the day with me. In life, we need to be resilient. In life, we'll have the ups and downs. But if you don't quit, you will make it. If you don't quit, you will succeed. If you don't quit, you will reach the pinnacle of whatever you want to do. Resilience is key to the achievement of every goal, every dream. Resilience is when you say, I am not going to give, I'm not going to quit until I succeed. So you know what? Are you going through changes? Are you going through some difficulties? Are you going through a transformation? It's life hard on you. Never give up. I'm reminded of this statement: tough times don't last, but tough people do. You got to be tough to succeed. You have to develop the mental toughness to succeed.